Hey everyone, I wanted to do a review today for you all on the Makeup Forever HD foundation. Now, I have kind of been the last one on YouTube to try this foundation. For whatever reason, I've put it on the back burner. So, if any of you all are still curious of what I think, then you can stay tuned. This is what the foundation looks like. It comes with a pump, which is a major plus for me. My color is in 120. However, I will say, I was in Sephora when I picked this up. 118 actually matches my skin tone perfectly. But I was bound and determined to try this foundation that day. I really wanted it and they were out of it. So I kind of settled with 120. It still works for me. I blend it. I use bronzer. I make sure I go down my neck. So I still can make it work, but it is slightly darker than what I am right now because it's winter. But first impressions of the foundation overall, I get it home, I take it out of the box, I'm excited, I put it on, and I was a little disappointed. To tell you the truth, I liked the foundation. One of the biggest pros that I will say about the foundation is the finish is beautiful. I loved how it felt light and very natural, but for whatever reason, and I may have made this up in my head, I don't know why, but I had in my head, because it said HD high definition foundation, that it would be high coverage. So I'm thinking that I could at least, get really good coverage, medium to full coverage out of this. For me, and everyone's opinion on this is different. To me, I was disappointed in the coverage, and that was really what I was disappointed at when I first opened it out of the box and put it on my face. My first impression was, this is not covering as well as I thought it would. But I really like the finish, and I have to give you that. I've been using this foundation for about 3 weeks. I have very sensitive, acne-prone skin. So I like to give a foundation at least 3 weeks, really, before I form an opinion on it, because I feel like my skin changes. 1 week, I could love this foundation. I could be having a great skin week, and the next week, I break out from it. So, I have a good opinion on it now, and I will tell you, the pros about this foundation is definitely the finish. It gives you a glow without being shimmery or so dewy you look oily, or it just gives you a natural glow within that you really can't describe, and it's very lightweight. If you don't like the feeling of foundation, you might like this, because I find it very kind of light and airy on my skin. However, the coverage is the con for me. I feel like for the price of the foundation, I don't know, I just feel like if I'm going in and I'm thinking I'm buying a high definition foundation, I don't want to have to use a lot of concealer. And for me, I still do. I still do have to use a good concealer with it. It does cover, I don't want to get you wrong. And the more that I've used it, I've learned that it is buildable. I can make it look a lot better, but you can't get full coverage out of it for sure. And I would say sometimes it's even hard to get, a good medium coverage. But I will say, to each his own. Get a sample, try it out, because what's medium coverage to me may be full coverage to you, So I would say try that out on your own. But that was one thing I was disappointed at. I think it's around $40 or $42. And to me, the coverage was just not up to par. Another con about this foundation is, if you have oily skin, this is not going to be a long-wearing foundation. And that may not really be a con. For me, it's not right now, because it's winter time, and this foundation has been lasting me relatively a good 6 hours. But I can tell you, in the summertime, this foundation will not work for me. I have combination skin. It's not necessarily oily, but, it's oily in some areas. And in the summertime, I go through stages where my skin, I sweat everything off. This foundation would just slide right off of me in the summertime, and it wouldn't be worth me spending the money on, I feel like. But right now, it's wintertime, and my skin is drier. It's actually really dry in some areas. So this is nice because it brings the life back to my face. It kind of gives me a little bit of a glow. I'm loving the finish. I apply it with my fingers, or I apply it with a flat top foundation brush. I use the e.l.f. flat top brush, but it's super easy to apply. And I'll kind of show you on my hand. There's a, let's see, a swatch. And it just really blends in. It's very, very thin. And like kind of liquidy. It's not thick. Feels super natural. Blends right in. I mean, it's very easy to work with. And that's one thing I really like about the foundation. But the coverage is just not amazing. But the finish is wonderful. So if you're a person, say you have normal to dry skin, and you like a foundation that is not real heavy, you're not looking for a lot of coverage, but you're just looking for that glow, that life back to your skin, you will like this foundation. It does exactly that. And I have grown quite fond of it. It's one of those foundations, the more you use it, I think the more you learn to like it, because it does do something really nice to your skin. However, it's not long wearing. If you have oily skin, this foundation I feel like is going to come right off of you, or you're definitely going to have to set it with a setting powder. And you may love it for the first 3 to 4 hours, but after that, don't expect for it to look the same as when you put it on. Because even for me now in the winter time, I do notice after long days, it kind of gets splotchy in areas. It doesn't settle for me in fine lines. I don't notice any settling in fine lines, so I don't get that from it, and that is great. And that probably has to do with the texture. It's very lightweight. It's very easy to work with. And, you know, it has a pump. So I feel like it depends on your skin type. I am liking this foundation right now. I don't regret buying it because I feel like it's kind of what my skin needed right now, since my skin is so dry and I'm going through a dry period. But come spring and summer, I'm probably going to switch to something else, just because I feel like for the price, it probably wouldn't be worth it. I'm either going to need something with more coverage or more long wearing if I'm going to pay that much for a foundation for me. But in the wintertime, my skin is just very dry right now, and I'm wanting that glow back in my skin, you know, because it kind of gets dull. So far, it hasn't broke me out like that. I mean, I still get breakouts, but I'm not noticing anything directly from that foundation. So far, so good. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment bar. If you've tried this, I would love to know what you think. I haven't tried the concealer, and I've heard a lot of good things about that. So stay tuned for more videos and leave your comments, or if you have a video review on this, I would love to hear it. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a good week. Bye.